Bad posture, the silent confidence killer. You've got that one friend who walks into a room and people notice. Not because they're conventionally hot, just present. They carry themselves well. Their energy feels different. They seem comfortable in their own skin. Their secret? They stand up straight. Not sometimes, always, even when tired. But here's what's happening. You're slouching through life. Shoulders forward, head down, phone posture 24/7. You're physically making yourself smaller, then wondering why people don't take you seriously. Smart people fix their posture first. They pull their shoulders back. They lift their chin. They take up space like they deserve to be there. How boring is this? Extremely. Does it work? Unfortunately, yes. Your body language speaks before you do. Start acting like it. Poor hygiene. The non-negotiable nobody talks about. Some people think basic hygiene is optional. Congratulations, that's why people keep their distance. I showered yesterday. It's fine. Here's what poor hygiene actually does. It creates barriers for connection, for opportunities, for basic social comfort. People notice. They just don't tell you. They quietly create distance instead. Teeth unbrushed? People see it. Nails dirty? People notice. Clothes wrinkled and stained? Everyone's making mental notes they'll never share with you. People who maintain basic hygiene aren't vain. They're considerate. They understand that how you present yourself affects everyone around you. When you smell bad, it's not just your problem anymore. How boring is this? Painfully. Does it matter? More than people realize. Constant complaining. The energy vampire move. You know that friend who complains about everything? Work sucks, traffic sucks, weather sucks, their coffee order was wrong. Life is so hard. Meanwhile, their negative energy is exhausting everyone. People start avoiding them. Not dramatically, just slowly. Fewer invites, shorter conversations, strategic distance. Then there's that one person who faces the problems but doesn't make it everyone else's burden. They vent when appropriate. They move on. They don't weaponize their bad mood. Result? People want to be around them. They're not more positive, they're just less draining. While you're complaining about your third world problems, they're building actual connections. How boring is this? Incredibly. Does it work? Ask anyone why they stopped texting you back. Being glued to your phone, always. Some people can't put their phone down. During meals, during conversations, during dates. Their screen gets more attention than the humans in front of them. Their social skills have no room for actual presence. No room for, I'm listening. No room for making people feel valued. Meanwhile, attractive people put their phone away. They make eye contact. They engage. They make people feel like they matter. By the time you look up from scrolling, the moment's gone and people have moved on. While you're checking notifications for the 47th time, they're building real connections. They decided their feeds can wait. Then human interaction became their priority. How boring is this? Absurdly. Will you do it? Probably not, which is why connections feel harder than they should. Interrupting people, the conversation killer. You know someone who can't let others finish sentences? They interrupt. They talk over. They turn every story into their own. They're not listening. They're just waiting for their turn to speak. Sound familiar? But here's what they're doing. Making every interaction about themselves. Most people want to feel heard, not lectured, not one-upped, not interrupted with, that reminds me of when I, before they finish their point. Attractive people listen fully. They ask follow-up questions. They make space for others. They understand conversation is exchange, not competition. While you're interrupting with your better story, they know their silence is more powerful than your words. How boring is this? Devastatingly. Does it matter? Ask yourself why people stop telling you things. Negative body language. The closed off look. There's that one person who always looks unapproachable. Not because they're mean, just closed off. Arms crossed, no eye contact, face stuck in resting judgment mode. You want to talk to them, but the vibe says, leave me alone. Even when they're not trying to be cold. Their body is screaming, go away, while their words say nothing. This applies to everything. Dates, networking, friendships, making connections. Open body language invites people in. Closed body language keeps everyone out. Most people can't see past their defensive stance to understand why they're lonely. How boring is this? Extremely. Does it affect your life? Ask anyone why they didn't approach you at the party. Talking only about yourself. The narcissists tell. You know that one person who makes everything about them? They ask how you are but don't listen to the answer. They hijack conversations. Every topic leads back to their life, their problems, their achievements. Sounds exhausting? It is. But here's the truth. Nobody cares about you as much as you do. Everyone's fighting their own battles. When you make every conversation about yourself, people check out mentally. Attractive people ask questions. Real questions. They remember details. They follow up later. Result? People feel valued. They want more conversations. While you're monologuing about your weekend, they're learning what makes others tick. While you're performing your highlight reel, they're building actual rapport. How boring is this? Spectacularly. Does it work? Every single person who has friends will tell you yes. Poor fashion choices. Dressing like you've given up. Some people dress like they stopped caring. Clothes that don't fit, colors that clash, outfits that screamed, I grabbed whatever was clean. That $15 shirt you've worn 200 times? It shows. Those sweatpants you wear everywhere? People notice. That's not comfort, that's resignation. Sounds harsh? Maybe, but here's what it communicates. You don't value yourself enough to try. And if you don't value yourself, why should anyone else? When you realize your outfit says, I've given up, it hits different. You ask better questions. What am I communicating with this? Usually, the answer is nothing good. How boring is this? Unbelievably. Will you change? No, you'll keep dressing like laundry day is a lifestyle. Being unreliable. Say one thing, do another. There's someone you know who never follows through. They say they'll call, they don't. They promise to show up, they bail. They commit to plans, then they ghost. Not once, repeatedly. They're not busy, they're inconsiderate. While you're making excuses for the third time this month, they're keeping their word to people. Simple as that. They say yes and mean it. They say no when they should. They don't waste anyone's time with empty promises. End of the month, their relationships are solid. Yours? People stopped counting on you around the fourth cancellation. That pattern hurts your reputation, but it's powerful when you realize it, because next time you either commit or you don't. You see the damage, you stop being that person. How boring is this? Aggressively. Does it work? Completely. Which is why people trust them and stopped inviting you. Having zero passions. The boring person default. There's that one person who has nothing going on. No hobbies, no interests, no passions. Ask them what they're into and they shrug. I don't know. Netflix, I guess. Not because they're busy, because they never tried anything. They never got curious. They never developed depth. Now they're boring and confused why nobody finds them interesting. Result? Conversations die quickly. Dates go nowhere. Friendships stay surface level. Same life, different day, zero growth. While you have nothing to talk about except work and weather, interesting people built layers to themselves. Same hours in the day. They just use them differently. How boring is this? Incredibly. Will you develop interests? Probably not. Too much effort up front. The unattractive truth. Here's what nobody tells you about attractiveness. It's mostly behavioral. If it was just looks, ugly people would never find love. The fact that it's about habits is exactly what gives everyone a chance. Genetic attractiveness helps, behavioral attractiveness wins. You don't see results immediately. Nothing feels dramatic, but one day you look around and people treat you completely differently. Not because you did something extreme, because you fixed something small, consistently, when nobody was watching and nothing felt impressive. That's the secret. Attractive people aren't always naturally beautiful. They just stop doing unattractive things. If this made you realize you've been sabotaging yourself with bad habits, good. Now you know what actually works. Hit that like button like you're committing to fixing one habit. Subscribe like you're choosing self-awareness over delusion. Because attractiveness doesn't come from wanting it. It comes from eliminating the behaviors that repel people. Same principles, different approach, way better results.